Okay, everyone, I really wasn't planning on doing a video today, but I just can't stop thinking about this Suns and Lakers game that happened last night. It has to be one of the most cursed games I have ever seen. One of the most interesting, uninteresting games I've ever seen. Here's one thing I know for certain, okay? I don't know if the Lakers are going to figure it out. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We're only 2 games into the season. They have LeBron James on their team. They have Anthony Davis on their team. They're only 2 seasons removed from a championship, but they're going to be a slow starting team. That's for sure. It's going to take them a while to gel. We know the Russell Westbrook cycle, okay? We know it all too well. First couple months of the season looks like the worst player of all time, and then just goes on a miraculous run. And the second half of the season looks fantastic, and then just completely disappears in the playoffs. We know that's the Russell Westbrook cycle, okay? So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But one thing I do know for certain is that this team is going to be hilarious to watch. This team is going to be endless comedy throughout the entirety of the season. I mean, we're in game 2. We are in game 2 of the season, and the Lakers just played one of the most hilarious games I've ever seen last night. Just from beginning to end, this game just did not stop providing hilarious moments. And that's because this team, top to bottom, you look at the roster, it's a meme team. It's a meme team. I don't know what it is with LeBron and just constantly playing on meme teams, but this team is just hilarious. Everyone on the roster, you have LeBron, who obviously, LeBron's one of the funniest athletes of all time, like unintentionally most of the times. He really didn't even do that much. I mean, he's been phenomenal to start the season, right? But outside of talking shit to campaign during the game from the bench, and completely giving up on a possession. I mean, he blocked a Cam Johnson dunk and then just completely set out an entire offensive possession, just set on the other end of the court, just watching his team fighting for their lives to generate any type of offense. The possession mercifully ended in an Anthony Davis getting fouled. And then you had also at the start of the second half, LeBron James guarding Mikal Bridges in the corner, and LeBron's just fucking standing there staring off into space, and Mikal Bridges cuts for a wide open dunk. It reminded me of like when you're like 4 years old and you're playing soccer and everyone on the field is just like sitting fucking on the ground and picking the grass. Like that's what LeBron looked like to start the half on that defensive possession, just completely checked out. LeBron is prone to those moments, especially as his career has progressed. But outside of that, LeBron really didn't do much last night that was meme worthy. Russell Westbrook, I thought, Russ obviously had a disastrous first game. I thought he was okay, much better in the second half last night. And really, whenever you see a game like last night, where it was just so crazy, so cursed, so much different wild shit happening, usually Russ is at the center of all of that. But last night was pretty tame for him. One of the only things I can really remember is he shot a brick that sounded like a cinder block falling from a 20-foot building whenever he missed, and then to pour salt into the wound, he got called for an offensive foul, which was funny. And then obviously you had Devin Booker mocking him by rocking the baby. But outside of that, Russ really didn't do anything too noteworthy last night. Anthony Davis, of course, the Lakers have an unofficial fall counter for Anthony Davis. He's on the ground every other fucking possession. Was only on the ground 5 times last night. Which is a big time plus for Anthony Davis. Him and Dwight Howard obviously got into a shoving match on the bench. I mean, we're 2 games into the season, guys. We're 2 games into the season. Where is this thing headed? If we're already getting into shoving matches 2 games into the season. Now, unlike a lot of people I've seen on Twitter, I don't really look too deep into shoving matches or teammates yelling at each other. I just think that's part of playing sports. But it is pretty comical whenever it's Dwight Howard, who, again, is a meme player in and of himself at this point, and then Anthony Davis and the Lakers. At this point in the season, they're 0-2. They're already screaming at each other on the bench, pushing each other on the bench. You have Rajon Rondo murdering a fan with a finger gun, and then the fan pushing his fingers out of the way and getting ejected from the game. Then you had Doris Burke. Doris Burke acted like the fan just assassinated a president or something, the way that she responded to that. Like, what was the deal with that? Doris Burke wanted this guy publicly executed or something for shoving Rajon Rondo's hands. I mean,
first of all, yes, you should escort him out. The guy shouldn't be allowed back in. You mmade physical contact with an NBA player in a courtside seat. Are you kidding me?
Out of his face. I don't know what Doris Burke was on about. I mean, this guy, Doris Burke was like, oh my God, I can't believe this peasant, nobody, had the audacity to shove an NBA player's hands out of his face. Like, this dude probably has more money than Rajon Rondo. If he's sitting courtside at a Lakers game on a Friday night, this guy probably has more money than Rondo. I mean, this guy has the looks of a trust fund baby, 100% a fail son. I guarantee this guy got ejected from this game and immediately went and hung out with Chet Hanks afterwards. That's just the way that this guy looks. Doris Burke, she was just awful all night. I mean, she was just horrific all night, clearly rooting for the Lakers. I mean, that's what she always does. There was one point where they called late in the game when the Lakers somehow made it a 10-point game. Russell Westbrook got fouled. They called it a continuation, even though Russ took like 2 dribbles after the fact. And Doris Burke was like, yeah, that's a bad call, but you know what? I like it.
Motion. Yeah, I mean, he fouled him twice, but I like the N1 call.
Like, Doris Burke was just blatantly rooting for the Lakers, but you know what? I kind of respect. Doris Burke's okay as a commentator. I think there's like this weird, Doris Burke is like the broadcaster version of Russell Westbrook, where you cannot talk about her at all because the people you talk to her about either hate her because she's a woman and these people think that women have no place in sports, or people are just overcorrective of the fact and act like she's the best broadcaster in the game, which is not true at all. I thought that she was terrible last night. It just added to the viewing experience, though. It added to the complete and total fucking chaos of this game. You had Avery Bradley go complete and total stealth mode. He completed the cardio challenge, 20 minutes, 0 counting stats. 20 minutes game played, 0 counting stats. Nothing. Not a rebound, not an assist, nothing. Not a steal, block, nothing. Only the 11th player in NBA history to achieve that. I've always been like, how does that even happen? How do you not even how does a rebound not just bounce into your hands or something? And that has never made sense to me. But of course, you had Avery Bradley pull a stat line like that out in this game. Kent Bazemore was shooting wide open threes. That sounded like Civil War cannons whenever they hit the backboard, just complete and total bricks.
Sun shot 13 free throws for that second quarter.
I mean, this game just had it all. This game had it all. And then, of course, he had Austin Reeves check in. He actually looked pretty good. I think he had a team high plus 17 in the minutes that he played. And he was a pretty big reason why this game became way closer than it was. Like, you look at the final score, 10-point game. It was not a 10-point game. I mean, this was a complete and total fucking beatdown for the entirety of the game. Austin Reeves checked in, looked pretty good, which is nice because the Lakers, it seems like the Lakers always have one of these guys on their team, one of these white guys who's just okay, but then the fan base just unconditionally loves them and supports them. And I think that's going to be Austin Reeves this season. So I don't know. The sky's not falling for me for the Lakers. I know there are some Lakers fans who are just pretty much giving up on the season already. I mean, they went 0-6 in the preseason. They're 0-2 now. But they're going to take a long time to gel, man. This is just the Russell Westbrook experience. And on top of that, how many people are on the roster from last season? Only 3, right? LeBron, AD, and THT. So it's going to take a long time for this team to gel. And as long as I've been saying this on streams, which, by the way, if you guys are subscribed to the channel, we stream all the time. We stream NBA games all the time. We did stream this game last night, and then I cut away from it because it was just such a fucking beatdown, and then watched the Kings and the Jazz game, which was much better. But as long as they're peaking, at the end of the season, they're going to be just okay. And as long as Frank Vogel figures out their rotations, Anthony Davis has to play the 5. Like, I know that he just does not want to for whatever reason, but he has to do it. He has to do it. I don't know. How is DeAndre Jordan still getting minutes? I mean, how is DeAndre Jordan still here? Like, how is this going on? Anthony Davis has to play the 5 if this team wants to be serious moving forward. But I don't know what's going to happen for this Lakers team, but I'm here for it. I'm here to watch them. I'm here to watch the comedy that ensues from this team playing basketball. They just have so many characters on their roster. It's going to be a fun season. It could be a long season for the Lakers. I'm not entirely sure. But one thing's for sure, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds.